Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. I'm sharing the Dear Friend Collection card kit. This is from Stamps of Life, April 2023. You get all of this goodness in a box, and you can subscribe. I've got all the details in my description on how to join the club if you're interested. They've got a bunch of different clubs available. This one is the card kit. They also have a stamp and die hard kit as well. There's some freebies included in this, including that little lemonade. I'm going to use all of these elements in my card making. You get some envelopes. Here is a basic step-up card die in the A1 shape. And then there are also some word dies, Dear Friend. Here's some epoxy dots that are square shaped. Here's some cardstock, and you get a fun folder to include everything. I love the folders that they include because you can put all your cardstock and then your paper pad and all the little elements in there. So here are the colors that you receive. So you can use some of the white for your card bases or layering. Here's grass, guava, that beautiful pink. I've got the bright orange tangerine, lemonade. This is pineapple and then banana. And then there's a navy blue that is called Midnight and grape. And that's my favorite purple on the planet. I'm a purple girl, and that is my favorite purple in all of my cardstock is the grape from Stamps of Life. So I'm really excited to play with this and use this color palette. Here's the paper pad. You get 24 sheets. They're 2 of each. This paper set, I should say, coordinates with the lemonade stand set that just released from Stamps of Life. So if you have that set, you can use those dies to cut out the lemonade pieces, the little lemons, and then the stand as well. And so this will repeat. So I will show you through the end. Here's that lemon repeating again, and then you can see you get more pages of the lemonade stand pieces. So you get a box full of goodness. If you're interested in signing up, I've got all the details in the description. I have a link, affiliate link that you can use. And if you have any questions, leave me comments in the description. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've got a lot of tips and techniques on this. I had a lot of fun pulling out some of my older Stamps of Life things to pair with this brand new set. And I'm going to begin by using this little freebie, the lemonade, which I'm kind of obsessed with, the lemon that says, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. What a great sentiment. So I wanted a layering piece that would go on top of the larger lemonade base, lemon base you can see there. And I'm going to just trace around that word die, and then I'm going to trim around, and that will allow me to layer on top of that larger piece. Now it's not perfectly cut, totally even. It's a little wonky a little bit, but that's how a lemon is too. They're not perfectly shaped, and the edges are kind of rough too with the texture that you get on that lemon skin. So I've gone ahead and cut out a piece of kiwi cardstock that I'm going to add my lemon piece to. Now before I finish with that, I am going to run this through an embossing folder. I'm going to add an embossing folder to the lemon, and then I ran it through my machine. And you can see there's some little dots on there, so you've got a nice texture to your lemon. This is just a quick way to add some texture to just a plain piece of paper. I love to do this. I have a lot of embossing folders that I've collected over the years, and it's always a fun way to add some texture and a little bit of dimension to an item that you might be working with. And then I'm also going to add some of this banana ink, run that around to kind of give some extra depth against that green piece. Now I'm opening up this stand-up card, step-up card. This is a step-up. There's step-up and stand-up, but this one is stepping up. And I'm going to pull out that sweet word die to use. It coordinates with the 2 that are included in the card kit this month, Dear and Friend. So I'm going to use all of those in this video. I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to use that size for all of my cards. The finished cards are all going to be A2 sized, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So those are just my layering sizes for reference. And I'm going to go ahead and add this to a piece of kiwi cardstock, and then I'm going to add that to a white card base. But I've got my lemon coming together, and I'm going to add a little bit more to it, but I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I love the size of this. You could do a lot with this fun shape, and it coordinates beautifully with the pattern cardstock. Now I pulled out my cherry stamp set, and I pulled out the dies. These are the leaves from that set. I have linked everything in the description that I'm going to use additionally that are Stamps of Life. And so maybe you've got some of these items in your craft stash that you can pull out and use to create some of these cards. I'm gluing the grass piece onto the kiwi, and I'm just making sure everything is dry. I've got some foam sheets here that I have pulled out. I love the foam sheets. I use them all the time. And I'm going to add this to pop up my lemon, but before I add that on there, I'm going to leave the backer paper on. I want to put a little banner. I was trying to see if it was going to fit, and it does fit from these cute stickers that are included. So there's some thin stickers like this, and then there's some of those puffy stickers that are the lemons that are super cute that I'm going to use a little bit later. All right, so I'm ready to add this on there, and then I'm going to adhere my leaves underneath, just to kind of add a little something extra to this cute lemon. And then I will come back and add a couple of the word dies. I love the green and the purple together with the yellow. They're just so pretty. All right, so I've got the sweet that I have die cut. I'm just going to add some glue. This word has a nice font and it's a good size, so it's pretty easy to glue down. You could use an adhesive sheet if you wanted to, but I was able to use my liquid glue pretty easily to glue these two together. And I'm just fixing my banner. It was a little bit crooked, so I'm just kind of going back and putting it a little straighter where I wanted it to go. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of foam to these, the Sweet Friend, and they work together beautifully. And then I will come back and add a little bit more with the embellishments. There are those little kind of faux wooden circles that have the centers, color centers in the middle. So we've got white, yellow, and orange, and I'm going to choose one of those to finish off this card. And I'm going to pick the white one and just add that to the end. And I love the way that turned out. So that's the first card. All right, so again, using the lemon shape, the lemon die, I'm going to create a shaped card with this. So I've cut the When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Lemonade. And I'm going to make that base from white. And you can see that I'm leaving a little bit of the top on the edge open, so it will not cut all the way through my cardstock. And it will give me a folded card, so a shaped card. I know a lot of you who have been with Stamps of Life for a long time are familiar with the Fold It, which helps create the folded card, shaped card. So this is sort of the same idea. I'm just making it using this die shape. And you'll see that when I peel this apart, I've got a shaped card. And then I can add this piece on top. So you could leave it just like that if you wanted to, but you can see the top has a little bit of that edge where it's folded, and so I'm going to add another piece on top of it. And I of course wanted to pull out the grape since it's my favorite color. So I'm just figuring out how that's going to all work together, and then I am going to glue this piece down. You could come back and paper a piece. You could put some letters in there to fill it in with a different color if you wanted to. I didn't feel like it was necessary because I think it just shows up so well the way that it's designed, but you absolutely could do that. If you wanted to take it a little bit further, you could come back and add in a different color. You could add white or green or something to give a little bit more added detail. So we've got this cute shaped card, and then I'm going to add one more of those little embellishments, and look at that. How cute and easy. All right, here is the step up card that I'm just going to fold down here, You can look at the picture on there. It just easily folds, so easy, from about a half piece of cardstock. And then I've got all of these little pieces that can go in it. And the detail is a little bit hard to see since I'm using the pattern paper, but there's a stitched border that goes around that's really, really nice. You can see it a little bit when I flip the paper over, but I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to that. These cards come together so quickly, and I love the step-ups like this. Okay, so I'm going to add those, and then I'll come back and add some more of the pieces from the lemonade stand. And here's that last piece, just using some liquid glue here. And there is the beginning of our card. So quick and easy. And the dies layer perfectly. So I wanted to add a cup of, I've got this iced coffee set. I'm going to do some paper piecing with the lemonade paper. I love that pattern paper. It's just so cheerful. So I'm going to begin by stamping this in black onto a piece of the lemonade paper. So I just cut a little bit that would fit it. And then I will ink that up. And then I'll also move to, I'm going to stamp that once, and then I'm going to move to a piece of lemonade cardstock. And you'll see what I'm going to do in just a second. So I'm going to ink this up and stamp it the same way one more time. Now I'm going to die cut the lemonade piece, the solid piece, and using my machine here, so I'm just going to run this through using those dies, and then I will hand cut the lemonade piece that is stamped. So let me peel this apart. So that's cute. That's cute as is. You could absolutely use that. But I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm going to trim down using those lines. I'm going to trim out the bottom portion of my cup of lemonade. I just thought that was kind of cute. So I'm going to trim the rest of this off, and then I will just adhere this onto my cup. Making sure I get most of the edges off. You'll still have a little bit of a black line, which is fine because it's going to meet where that cup has the outer image as well. So there you go. How cute is that? So quick and easy, and just adds a whole another fun layer to it. I love to do paper piecing like this. I love to take the stuffy dolls and stamp them and then add their clothes that way. It's just really fun. Okay, so I've got some stickles here. I found this very bright yellow stickles in my collection. I love Stickles glitter glue. I use it a lot. If you've ever watched any of my videos, there's a very good chance I'm going to use some. So I decided that the yellow was perfect for my frosted lemonade drink that I'm going to add to this card. So everything is dry now. That Stickles glitter glue dries pretty quickly. So I'm going to add this to the front of my step up. And how cute. And then I've got a bunch of the little lemonade pieces here. I also used a shaped, the Thinking of You. I linked that in the description. I just used that in kiwi, stamped that, and then die cut that. And then I'm going to add some of my large, I love these little large jars of lemonade. So cute with the little straw. And then I'm just taking a little bit of that glue off so I don't glue my card down. I just really need the bottom part of it having glue. And then I will add those to my card. I've got the small little pitcher of lemonade, and then maybe I'll put a little half of a lemon slice on there. How cute. Oh, it's so cute with the little banners. So there you go. Really quick and easy. All right, so I've got the double scalloped that I cut out, and then I used the Dear Friend paper. I really love that Dear Friend paper. And then I had a few of these little tropical to stamp. These are old from many, probably years ago now, where it card kit where you could cut out the shape. And so I found some of those in my stash, and I'm going to use those. I did cut a couple of the leaves in the grass and the kiwi, switching their colors. And then I'm going to add all of this to my card front, this scalloped card front. with the dear friend. So this made a really quick and easy card. I love these kind of shaped cards as well. The scallops are my favorites. So I've got these 3 colors, and they worked great with the color palette of the card kit. And so I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I want to put these leaves. And once I've got that decided, I can add that to my card. So I'm just kind of holding it where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to pop it up with a little small foam dot. And then put those back into place where I want them to go. Super, super cute. And there we go. And then I can add the leaves. I'm just going to glue the leaves directly onto the card base. And we've got that little bit of dimension with the flowers sitting up. And then I've got to work on the sentiment here. So I've got these strip dies, and I've got these sentiment stamps. These are very old, but some of my very favorites. And I'm just figuring out which one is going to fit on the strip that I like the best. There's some that are just squares, or rectangles, I should say, that just have a solid end. And then there's some with the flags, I guess they're banners on the end. And so I'm just choosing which one I am going to use. So I encourage you to check out these strip dies. I really like them because you can cut a bunch at once, or you can just cut one or two like I'm doing now. I've got a little scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to run that through my machine. And I'm going to use the deer word die on this one. So I love the dies that are included. So I'm going to run that through, and then I can work on stamping the sentiment. And I will pull that out and dig out the sentiment that I'm going to use. It's a little bit larger than what I need, but I will just trim that down with my trimmer. And I'm just going to get out my stamp positioner here and stamp that up with black ink. You could use Midnight. I guess I could have used Midnight, would have looked really good too on this. I just tend to always use black ink because I know it, I will be able to see it. As I'm aging, things are getting harder to see, and especially on camera. I find that it's getting a little harder to see things when I'm recording. And so I'm just going to ink this up really well, get a nice deep image. My ink pad is pretty dry, so this stamps very well. I need to re-ink my stamp pad. I have to re-ink it all the time because I use it constantly. And I live in a climate that gets hot and dry, and so it kind of zaps my pads, I feel like, quicker, and so I just have to re-ink a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to trim this down with my little trimmer to just the right size, and I'm going to add that on top of one of the flowers, and then I will add the deer at the bottom. You are very dear. Thought that was sweet, just a little bit different way of saying that you are important to me. Okay, so I just added the foam on most of the word, but I'm going to leave a little bit off. And then on this strip, I've got some tape on the back, so I'm just peeling that off. I'm going to add a little bit of foam. I cut it a little too large, but I'm going to add it just to the end where it's going to be hanging off, and then the rest of it's going to attach to the flower. So I'll add a little bit of glue there so we've got it pretty even. But I noticed that I've got a little bit foam and my scissors are not the sharpest, so I'm just going to end up tearing a little tiny piece of it off so that you don't see that. Now add that on there. You are very dear. So cute. I love that paper. All right. So here I've got a really simple one. I'm using the large circle flippet that has a bunch of these word dies that go with it. I have chosen Thinking of You. I think that is always a great card to have on hand. And I'm just using some of this cardstock, the pattern cardstock from the set. I just wanted to show you that you don't have to do it just with the theme of this set. You have so much variety because there's so many different patterns included in these paper pads. Even though it is kind of themed for the lemonade stand, again, you can use this paper for so many other things. So I'm just going to add this thinking of you. I used the guava, which is included in the kit, to coordinate, and then I'm going to add this circle on the back. I'm going to intentionally leave that blank because I'm not sure if I'm going to write a sentiment or I'm going to stamp it. So I'll have the ability to come back at a later time and add a sentiment if I wish. So I like leaving the other side of my flippets open sometimes, so I just have a little bit of variety. I'm going to cut a piece of this ribbon, the satin ribbon, and I will tie it onto this card. I was thinking back, I've been stamping many years on and off, mostly on the last 10, 12 years or so. And but I was thinking when I first started making cards, ribbon was really hot back then. Everybody used ribbon on their cards, but instead of tying it on there, you would punch a hole and thread it through, and you'd get this kind of cool ribbon effect, and you'd weave it back out the front. I don't know if any of you have been around long enough to remember that. If you have, leave me a comment. I'd love to know. But I mean, that was the be all end all to create your card. The hardest part was getting the circles, the two holes, to line up. Anyway, it just made me laugh. But I did add you'll see I added a little rainbow on the front of that card to add just a little bit more. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to use another part of that lemonade die. I have cut just the lemonade. I had one of these banners, and you could stencil this for sure, but since it was purple, I wanted to use a lighter color, so I have chosen to pull out a little paste that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to use this as kind of a stencil for my banner. So I'm just taking a second here to tape this down well so that hopefully the paste doesn't get all over my banner and I get just the word lemonade. Sometimes on things like this they work really well and sometimes they don't. And this one actually worked out pretty well, but I encourage you to try things like this because you just never know if it will work or not. And sometimes you just get these fun things that turn out, and if not, you can always try it again. So I'm going to add my paste here. I've got my little spatula, and I'm just not going to hopefully smush it too much. It's a little bit of a thinner paste. It's metallic, and so I don't want to push too hard and smear it all underneath. And I'm going to carefully remove this, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm cautiously optimistic in doing this. All right, so I'm going to hold this down and slowly peel, and it looks pretty good so far. I got a little bit of a smush on the A that I'll hopefully fix with a little tool or something. You could use, like I've got this, I'll have a little spatula too that's the perfect size to clean up little messes when I spill a little bit more out of my stencil. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to move on to putting this card together that's going to have that lemonade banner on there. I've got this adorable dog that I have stamped and die cut and colored, and I am going to fill in the window behind him. So I've got a piece of scratch paper here, scrap paper I should say, and I am going to fill in the window behind him. That lemonade background is so busy that I feel it will overpower that sweet little doggy. And again, I'm using kiwi, which is pairing beautifully with these yellow colors because it's got a nice bright green, bright yellow hue in this green, and so they pair together really well. So I'm going to add that little dog on there, and then I'm going to come back and glue a little bit of him down, and then I will put the window behind him. So cute. I mean, who wouldn't be happy to get a cute little card with a little doggy selling lemonade in there? So cute. Love it. I'm going to do more than just the lemonade, but for this one, he is going to be selling lemonade. So cute. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of my adhesive on there. I will let that dry really well, and then I'm going to add some foam sheets to the back of it. Okay, so now I can peel that off and place this down. And then you can see I've got my lemonade banner has dried. It looks really good. I'm happy with how it turned out. And then I will add that to the top. And then I'll add a little bit of glue on that bottom and then my corners to make sure that stays in place. So cute. He is so adorable, that little dog. I think it's from the Cookie set. Friends for Cookie or Friends of Cookie. Got it linked. I've got a little bit of these grass pieces. This is from the barbecue set. And I will add that at the bottom to kind of ground my image. And then I've got that large lemonade up there in the corner. And then I had this cute, also in the barbecue set, they had this, I had one of these little, I'm going to call it a turkey leg, colored. And I thought, well, what little dog wouldn't like a turkey leg to sell at his lemonade stand or to eat while he's selling lemonade? So I thought that was cute. And then I'm going to add this to a piece of grape cardstock to pull out that banner. And then this will go onto the pineapple card base. Again, A2 sized cards. So cute. I just love the little chicken leg or turkey leg, whatever it is, just made me smile. I have a cat and he always is trying to steal meat from us, so I can relate. All right, I'm going to repeat the same process pretty much with this next card using that lemonade stand. I've got a different piece of cardstock, but again, trimming it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to add my lemonade stand on there. However, I am putting a unicorn in mine. So this will not be a lemonade stand. This will be a little bit different. But I used one of those stickers, the sticker sheets that I showed you, that has the banner. It has the banner that goes across the top. I guess it's really a pennant. Would be with the little triangles. And then there's this one. And there are some lemons as well. So it's just fun. I love those little stickers. Instead of paper, they're kind of translucent a little bit. But really, really cute. So I've added a window again because I don't want to lose that unicorn in the background. And I colored my unicorn with my tri-blend markers using the purple and the bright pink. So I like the way that looked with the color palette. And here's that sheet I was referencing of the stickers. So we've got 3 little pieces of lemonade slices that I'm going to add to this stand. And I'm going to start with the middle one, which is the smallest. I'm going to put that in the middle, and then I'm going to put this one on. I'm going to have to trim this one down. It's a little too large, which is fine. Just took a sharp pair of scissors, and I was able to get a pretty clean cut on that. And then I'm going to take my other lemonade piece and add it, and it actually fits perfectly. So it worked out to have kind of a little lemonade banner underneath. All right, so now I stamped "Have a Magical Birthday" in that scrap piece of paper. Just flipped it over, and it is that bright pineapple. And I'm going to layer this across the top of my card. And I'm just making sure I've got this a little crooked, and then I've got it a little bit hanging off. So I'm just trying to get it in the right position here. And then once I like that, I will trim off the ends. And you've got a cute little banner across the top of your card. And I love the brightness of this color palette. So I'm going to trim that off, and then I can finish assembling my card. So again, using some liquid adhesive here to layer that onto some cardstock. So cute. So it doesn't have to be just lemonades. You can use this with a lot of different critters and friends in the Stamps of Life line. There are tons of them, and you probably have some of them in your craft stash. But I love the little stand. It's just so cute. So I pulled in a few of these square epoxy dots. I added a larger one in the middle, and then I'm going to finish it off with 2 smaller ones on the side. I just wanted to add a little bit more yellow to balance out that top sentiment. So cute. Love the shape. And that's it for that one. All right, so I've got one more stand. I have cut some pieces here. I have trimmed down my paper, and I am using the little pieces that are included in the A1 Step Up. There are some little foliage pieces that are very, very cute, some small ones, and then there's a larger one that has a heart in the center, and that is the one I'm going to end up using. But I'm also going to run that through my machine in the guava because I want that heart that is in the middle. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little layering with this, and then I will add that to my card. So I've got this one, but I only want the heart, and I'm just trying to find all of my little pieces. I don't end up using the smaller ones, so I'll just save those for another project and put them in my little scrap pile. But I do want that little heart, and I'm going to trim that down. I'm just seeing kind of what fits onto the banner at the top. So I'm going to use my scissors, trim this off, just turning my paper to get a nice rounded edge on my cut. And then that will be ready to be added to this little sprig at the top. And so my idea was to add it to the top of this sweet little banner. I've got a pink one left, and so I'm going to use that one, but I wanted to make the heart pink as well. So cute. I love that little sprig. You could do a lot with a little sprig like that. You could cut it up, or you could use it as whole. You could do a lot with that. I'll have fun playing with that one. I'm going to add a little bit of glue and adhere this to the top. So cute. So you could turn that kind of into a wedding motif I see here with this. You know, maybe you could put some hearts in there, or some sort of other image in there, and make it more of a wedding theme. I could see that, changing your colors up. So there are a lot of possibilities with this little stand, this little lemonade stand. Okay, I've got this piece of pattern cardstock. I'm going to use the grape side of it with the sweet little lemons. I'm going to pull this down a little bit because I really don't want much showing on the bottom, and I want to stick that lemonade stand on top of there to kind of ground it to my card. Got this sweet little dog. This is also from that Friends from Cookie set. Again, I've linked that in the description, but I thought they were the perfect size to fill these little windows. And then I have the happy birthday here from the sentiment set that I am going to add to my stand. So this one is totally different, using happy birthday. And then I will add the friend to it as well. So I've got some foam. I'm going to pop this up. I'm obviously out of the foam sheet at this time, since I've moved to the dimensionals here. And so I will peel all of these little papers off, and then I will add that, and then I can add my little puppy dog. All the colored images that I did, I used the tri-blend markers, and this was probably the cool gray that I used. And I just kind of, I did, one color, and then I sort of, it's a little hard to see on the camera, but I kind of flicked some color into it to kind of give him a little bit of texture on his fur. Now I'm running into a little bit of a problem. I put the foam too high, and so I'm trying to figure out if my little doggy is going to fit in there. And I'm going to add my topper on there, and so I'm going to try and peel this off, but it's really, really stuck. So I'm just going to have to kind of work the problem. I was hoping I could get the foam to move a little bit for me, but it had already stuck. So I'm just going to do what I should have done in the beginning and trim him down. So I just kind of had to work the problem, and there he goes. Now he will sit in there selling, hanging out, selling birthday wishes to a friend. So cute. And then I'll add the little banner on top. And that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. So it all worked out. I just had to work a little bit harder to get him to fit, just so. And there is happy birthday, friend. And I'll run that friend through my die machine again. And I'm going to use the yellow and the grass together to finish off this card. So again, very easy to glue. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the friend. And then I will be ready to finish off this card. I've had so much fun with the set. A lot of fun. Okay. And I love the colors together on this one as well. That's my second favorite one, next to the grape one. I like the grape and the white together really, really well. And so I'll add that to my card base. And then I'll add a little bit more foam to pop this friend up. He's so cute. Happy birthday, friend. And then I thought this was the perfect place to add a couple of those fun round embellishments. But before I finish, I've got to put a little bit of stickles on there. I know I used that yellow stickles earlier for my cup, and I'm going to add Stardust to this one. Again, love a little bit of sparkle, so I'll let that dry. And here is the last card. I am using the original grid set. I love this set. You use those two dies together, so you've got the one that punches out the 4 squares, and you pair them together and you get this awesome frame. So I have cut it from banana, and then I've got my frame cut from the grape. And now I can fill this back in. I chose to use a piece of the Dear Friend, and I will save the other pieces for it, and I can reuse those on another project. So I'm going to leave each little square open, and then I will fill that back in all with lemon products. So cute. And I've got a few more of these left. And so I will add, again, that adorable jar, and then some more of my pieces. I've got the little stack of lemons, which is so fun. But I've got a runaway jar here that has slipped and moved. And so I can, since I use some liquid adhesive, I can fix that very quickly by just pulling that back to where it's supposed to be. And then I've got some glue here to add to my little pile of lemons. I'm going to finish up with an individual lemon and then a couple of lemon slices. Just a lot of fun. And I am not going to add a sentiment to this one. I'm going to maybe add something later, a little circle with a stamp in there, possibly. But I just love that word die. So the paper, I should say, the pattern paper. I did add a little lemon, but I might fill that back in and I might not. So just a little bit of flexibility. Okay, I was not telling the truth. I have one more card. This is probably the 10th one. You can tell I was having a lot of fun with this one. All right, so I've got another one of those step-up cards. I've got When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Lemonade. I cut that out of pineapple onto a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to glue this directly onto this little card base. It fits really, really well. And so this will fit in an A2 envelope because it's an A1 size. So you can use your standard envelopes to fit one of these cards. You'll just have a little bit of space, but that is A-okay. So I'm going to come back here with some of my puffy stickers. I almost said puffy hearts. My puffy lemons, and add those around the big lemon. And then again, pulling out some of these fun pieces. I wanted to use as many of these as possible because they just made me smile. And funny story, when I was growing up, I worked at a barbecue restaurant where I lived. Probably from 16, 15 until my early 20s when I was in college. And we had the best lemonade. And this card makes me think of it. But we had to squeeze, every shift that we worked, we had to squeeze 2 or 3 quarts of lemonade, which is a lot. And so I got very good at squeezing lemons for lemonade. So that just made me think of it with that full lemon card. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. Here is a recap of all the cards that I made using this card kit from Stamps of Life. Again, if you're interested in joining, I've got all the details in the description. If you have any questions about the kit or about the club where you get a discount, if you're a club member on every purchase, be sure and leave me a message or a comment. I will get back to you if you have any questions. And I hope you enjoyed all of the fun lemon goodness in this, as well as just the cheerfulness of this card kit. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. See you soon.